All right, and welcome back. Welcome back to Greenbox Gaming plays Delta Green Impossible Landscapes. My name is Joe. I will be your handler for this operation, and I am joined by my good friends, who none of which are here on screen, but they're in the background doing other things. But I have these guys here, who include people like Brad playing Hank Ellis, and I guess Dace playing Benji, and I suppose John playing Benedict.
Weird energy for this intro.
Yeah, I'm feeling loved already. I think
Yeah.
he's trying to distance himself before he
he's-
kills us off.
The string's
Yeah.
messing up, so
Yeah, that's just I'm lashing out. That's really what it is.
it's
You just
weird
gone
that Twitch isn't prioritizing our show. You know,
It's that's what it is.
insulting, honestly.
Yeah,
What if we got a cam girl on the stream?
that
Oh.
would change the dynamic. That's for sure.
Just spitballing.
I don't know what else to say about that. It would definitely change how things worked.
Just
What
Not
about
sure it's what we're going for.
a cam animal, just like a dog somewhere.
And that would no doubt lead to some type of prosecution.
I'm just talking about a dog on the camera, Joe. Jesus, I'm not talking about.
Oh, okay.
I'm not
That would
touching
chill
that
the
with a
vibe out.
10-foot stick.
Yeah. How are you guys doing?
Oh, good.
Good.
If y'all notice, my background is different yet again. Had to drive home for a wedding today.
Yeah. It's and
It's tapestry.
it's not your wedding, right? That's that was covered.
Oh shit!
Oh god.
Guys, I gotta get off.
Oh god. I got a lot of thinking to do. Oh no. But I do believe that our good friend Dace seems to have something important he would like to talk about. It was
Yeah,
important enough for him to text me last night and say,
yeah.
"Don't worry about the banter on the top side. I got this."
You got it covered,
Got this
buddy.
nailed.
And
This is
and
a
I
soapbox.
have not. I didn't check in ahead of time to see what it was, so I'm on the edge of my seat.
All right. Cock and ball torture.
All right.
Jesus.
What?
Okay.
No, I'm
All
just
right.
kidding.
Just
Okay.
launching
So-
into that.
If y'all will recall, a few episodes ago, John sent my mom, Ellen, a link for our Twitch stream. And
Uh-huh.
we didn't think she was going to listen. She
Okay.
listened.
Uh-oh.
And she's a fan. We got her, boys.
Oh.
We got her.
We got her.
She
You-
went so far as to start back at episode 0, and she's actually like going through and listening to everything, and she's like
Really?
keeping up with the plot and the character development. There's a lot of stuff she doesn't understand, but she's enjoying it.
You
Wow.
know, Dace, sometimes parents say things just to be nice. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be true. She could be lying out her ass, but she said sometimes she'll actually prioritize our podcast over the podcast she regularly listens to.
call them out. Podcast war. Who is it?
But she has some notes for us,
Oh god.
and
Ooh.
I did not run this by her. Hey mom, sorry mom.
Wait,
Uh,
are these actual notes? These are actual suggestions from
Yeah, I got
your
'em right
mother?
here.
All right.
Likes. She likes hearing the interactions of boys she used to make grilled cheese sandwiches for.
Oh man.
Another like. She likes Brad's southern drawl when he remembers to do it.
Yeah, Brad.
Okay.
She likes hearing a person as sweet as John be an asshole. She likes that
Okay.
you're breaking out of your archetype there.
Oh man, yeah.
And she likes that she gets a glimpse of the man that Joe has grown to be.
Wow.
Aw.
I'm not sure.
Dislikes.
I don't.
Okay.
Joe talks too much.
Okay. All right. Fair.
Joe talks too much. It seems like he's the king of his own little fiefdom.
Dude,
Are you
hot
serious?
takes from Ellen.
This doesn't sound like Ellen, but maybe her phrasing. I don't know.
Another dislike. Hearing the party talk about what they want to do. She wants us to get our shit together and just push the story forward. She's
just
frustrated.
Mhm.
God.
Another dislike.
It's all harsh but fair.
She didn't like that Joe took away Brad's sons. She thought that was really mean.
All right. I have to ask at some point in time, how many of these dislikes are genuinely from Ellen and how many are just from you?
This is. I had a conversation with her last night, and after we got done
Okay.
talking, I was like, I have to write this shit down
Indeed.
before I forget it. This is gold.
Well,
And,
hot takes from Ellen, man.
honorable mention or honorable unmentioned. She didn't mention my performance as Benji whatsoever,
Mm,
Oh,
which I think speaks
okay.
volumes.
yeah, it kind of says its own thing, doesn't it?
Yep. But yeah,
Well,
we got a fan. I don't think she subscribed to the Patreon, so. But maybe once we implement the notes, she'll be more
Okay.
receptive.
Listen, we're gonna
So-
get around to those notes, Ellen.
Dace, I don't know if you're planning to do a speech at the wedding today, but just read those notes. I think that would be a great speech.
they'll
Like
transfer
cousin's
across.
wedding.
No problem.
Tap on a champagne glass. Tink, 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 tink. Speech.
Oh man. Well,
That's all I got.
Well, so there's no better time to
Wait.
to lean into those. What?
I would like to say once again, I love you, Mom, and I'm sorry. All right.
Wow, I feel like a lot of pressure now. I'm
Yeah.
flustered.
Gotta get that
I gotta-
roll down.
I know. I gotta.
Yeah, you
Don't
better,
worry.
better unfuck that draw.
Talking about dildos
Howdy.
and
Howdy.
Oh,
Okay, you're in the zone.
Yeah.
So there's no better time to implement those changes than right now. And unfortunately, I'm gonna have to start it with a recap, which is a lot of me talking. So
Jeez.
I don't know.
Mom's out. She's out.
She's out.
we lost her.
All right. So last time, guys, we have moved on from 1995. We're in 2015, where the crew, Hank, Benji, and Benedict, have all been kind of, spread over different parts of New York, kind of living their lives. They had met briefly back together in 2007 with their handler, Marcus, basically being warned that there was a schism being formed in the organization of Delta Green. But you guys haven't really seen each other until you receive these strange invitations. These invitations to a birthday party at a restaurant. Benedict, or should I say, not even Benedict, Jean, as a human player, actually was looking at the asset and said, hey, it looks like there's something behind that invitation. And sure enough, in the game, there was. You guys pulled apart this invitation that you received to see that not only does it receive this strange handwriting example, but also the seal of person, a demon that you guys had run into the same symbol, the same seal in 1995. The team was a little more cautious going into this operation, being like, man, we have got to get ready. Let's get I think last episode I called it the bag of disappearing. It's like what were those bags in Dungeons and Dragons where you put all your stuff in? A bag of holding?
Holding.
It's like a bag of holding, except it's just meant to hold humans in small confined spaces when you kidnap them, like a trunk. So you guys put together your kidnapping kit, your disappearing bag, and some more weapons, some more gear. Picked up your old FBI credentials, even if they are 20 years old. A bunch of shotguns that you found in a strange bookstore back in 1995, and headed off to Boston. Pardon me. You guys scoped out the place. It seemed to be pretty chill. And you met with your briefing agent, who identified himself as let's see, what was I've actually forgotten his name now.
Barbus.
Agent Exeter?
Exeter, yes, that's right, Agent Exeter. And you guys had found out before that you guys had thought you were meeting with Marcus because you had seen that the reservation for the room was made by someone under the name of Marbus. You thought that was, I believe it was Benji who said, "Oh, I think this is Marcus's just shitty attempt at a pseudonym."
Yeah.
When you guys arrived and you made contact, you were told that there were several agents who have gone missing. Former Delta Green agents who are in a mental asylum or a mental hospital called Dorchester House in Boston. You guys, you were given a list of names, and you were told that if you find anything, any type of tome or book or anything, that you are not to read it, that the individuals in this place have been exposed to something, and you are to report or destroy anything you find. And you were also given this strange, I guess, what was it? Like a strange poem that was written. I'm actually going to switch it over here to the to our board. You guys were given this strange poem that included something that you had not seen for a while. This poem that was written in blood on the rooms of one of the missing people. "Abigail Wright has gone to sea, crossed the waves to rescue me. In a ship both tall and fine, she rounds the corner, marking time." And, you guys were all a bit shocked to see the name Abigail. Mention of Abigail Wright from 1995 again. But things seemed to be, they weren't sitting very well with you guys. This Agent Exeter, the way you were called back, everything, it didn't sit well. And as you guys were getting ready to leave, you were able to kind of at least mark this guy's, you were able to mark this guy's, like license plate as he went. And as you prepare to possibly go off to, this Dorchester house, but like I said, everything seemed to have leave a weird taste in you guys' mouth. That it seems that the years have made each of you a little more paranoid, a little more likely to doubt what the program is telling you to do or what Delta Green is telling you to do. So, at this point, what do you do? And keep in mind, Ellen is watching and wants you to get on with the action. That's what the people want.
So we definitely have to go to Dorchester House at some point, but did we decide to cooperate with Exeter? Like, have we made a decision about whether we're going to cooperate with the program?
I don't think we should follow the plot.
At all.
Just me.
All right, let's go to an Arby's. Let's go get some Arby's, buddies.
Well,
How about we go to the
Arby's?
We go to Arby's is big back then, man. 2015.
They got the meats.
Yeah.
They got the meat. That's what they say.
All right, let's go to Arby's and then head to the house, the insane asylum, or what is this marketed as? What's it? It's just a Joe.
You mean like Dorchester?
Dorchester. Is it an insane asylum or is it like a rehabilitation center, or what is it marketed as?
Well, it sounds like you want to do some information gathering.
Oh,
So what it sounds like to me.
let's go to Arby's, pick up some sandwiches, ask the cashier about it, and then head over there.
Keep in mind, it's 2015. You do have
with this.
smartphones and and things like that. It's
We're
not,
old school.
Yeah, Hank is old school.
No,
I don't know if
me
you
and
know, we
Hank
are all
old
seniors.
school.
That's
Yeah.
right.
We have those. Do y'all remember those big phones that were marketed towards old people that just had like 2 buttons?
Oh yeah.
That's what
That's
we're
what you guys have. Oh, and also speaking of phones, you guys were also given this huge old 90s version satellite phone, and you were told by Agent Exeter
Yeah.
that if you needed to contact him or you needed to contact Delta Green, that was how you should do it.
Yeah, we
Okay.
will be contacting that sketchy MFer.
So yeah.
All right, boys. As you all know, I'm a Southern Georgia man, and I'm speaking Southernly and
With my accent.
with my accent. And I think we should let's all hop in my van and head over to Arby's and do some reconnaissance, and then head over to Dorchester.
Well, dang, Hank, you're sounding in top form. Did you get even more Southern?
Oh, I've
All
always
right, let's
sounded
go.
like this.
Let's
To
get the
the
hell out of
Arby's.
here. All right.
All right.
I've never eaten at an Arby's. I don't know what this peasant food. What is this peasantry?
This will be a real treat for Benedict.
If you can imagine roast beef, but fast food, fast food roast beef. Doesn't that sound
Do they
good?
serve champagne?
They serve Sprite, which is almost as good as champagne.
Oh, if you say so.
Do they sell Coke products?
I don't know. You guys go to a freaking Arby's, all
This
right?
is Delta Green, Joe. This is important. Details are important.
Not this
and
detail.
You're in luck. They do serve Coke products, including
Nice.
Sprite, Coca-Cola,
Uh,
and
Please stop.
Is-
Please, just we can
I
stop.
lost the menu. Hold on.
Okay, let's not go back to the menu.
Menu.
All right, so you guys, if you want to look up anything about Dorchester, it's not hard to find like a history of the place. It was built as an all-boys school by the Catholic Church in 1912. The school closed in 1944 around due to some of the things that were going on because of World War II. And the building was maintained by the church for until the mid 50s, and then at some point part of it was converted into like a public gymnasium, and that closed in 1966. And then it was reopened again as a place called as a public recreation center called Dorchester House School. And then it was converted into a psychiatric hospital in 1989, a private hospital. One of the big things that you find really quickly, or that becomes very apparent, is that Dorchester House, or Dorchester House Psychiatric Facility, is very well regarded. Very well. It has incredible reviews. The people, it's considered one of the best psychiatric facilities in this part of the country, maybe in the country. It appears to, it typically has, staff and doctors of renown. And specifically, you find that it currently has, that the current head is a feller named Dr. Richard Dallin. And this was your contact that you were given by Agent Exeter. You were told that this contact is a Delta Green friendly. But you see that Dr. Dallin is a expert in the field of PTSD, especially military service PTSD and combat PTSD.
Cool. And he's a friendly, so he's like privy to like supernatural stuff, but he's never actually gone on a Delta Green mission. He's not an agent.
So the term Delta Green friendly, and you guys would all know this as agents, friendlies are typically people who do not have a super good grasp on the unnatural. They understand that there is an organization that is doing something important, and they serve it. How much or how little they know about the nature of the unnatural kind of depends. Delta Green doesn't typically let those people be with lots of unnatural knowledge just be friendlies. They typically try to recruit them to the conspiracy if they have a lot of knowledge of the unnatural or an awareness of it, just to kind of keep them close, So,
Remind me, I don't know if I'm just making this up completely, but when we were in the night floors, we met two random people, one of which was a patient. Was he a patient in the Dorchester house?
it's funny you say that. Yes, you ran into
There's a
while you
group
were
of
in
them.
there. Yeah, it was a group
two.
of people who were, amongst them, there were two coherent-ish people who spoke to you, and one of them, I believe it was a man named Ed Wist, was the one you had talked to. He was the one who told you that he could get you out of this place. He told you that he was. When you asked him, well, where are we right now? He said, I don't know the address. We're in Boston. And I believe that the name Dorchester was mentioned.
That was the only guy we
Inspiration.
talked to, though, for extended.
You did talk. You did talk to another guy.
Mhm.
You talked to Wist, and I believe you talked to a man named Timothy Bale.
I don't remember Timothy Bale. What did he have to say? Anything relevant?
Tim didn't really say anything interesting. He was the one who was convinced that he was dreaming.
Yeah. Okay. And we also found out that the Dorchester house was built by Darabandi at some point, right?
Right.
I don't think so.
Well,
I think
let me...
I might have just been pushing that theory, but I'm pretty sure it was all but confirmed.
Let me get on my Apple iPhone and do a little research.
Yeah, that seems fair to look that up.
All right, give me some type of roll then, if you want to. If you want to try to do like a deep dive into the history of the building and
I
whatnot.
still got the Arby's menu pulled up.
Can you give me a classic French dip and Swiss?
I'll have a number 2. And for our friend back here,
Ben-
2 Sprites.
Yes, and Benedict is busy trying to Siri, hello, Siri, are you there? Hello, Siri, who made the psychiatric facility in Norwood Street in Boston? I'm sorry, I don't understand South
I'm
Africans.
sorry, I don't understand your question.
I don't understand South Africans.
John, we're
Oh,
about to
um,
get the Apple endorsement, and you just ruined it.
It just ruined it. So you find.
Well, I'm
What
gonna
did you?
do a
Did you roll
search.
something?
I'm gonna roll a
What-
search.
What search? Is that what we're rolling?
Yeah.
I
Success.
guess like on the like an internet search.
Internet search.
Oh, you got a
device.
30 and a 31. So yeah, those are both pretty close. What you find is that you don't find anyone's particular name on as a designer of the building. You can see that again that it was owned by the Boston Archdiocese, which is the Boston, like I don't know what you call them, like sector of the Catholic Church. But it doesn't make mention of a specific designer.
Okay. Well, maybe we just...
Maybe we should just head on to the Dorchester house and talk to this Richard Dallin fella. Maybe when we're there, we can take a peep at the architecture. Maybe it'll be similar to old Darabondi's other structures. Hey, Hank, how's that number 2 treating you?
He's so engrossed he can't even bother to actually open his mouth and speak. All right, so once you guys have downed enough roast beef to feed a small African village, what are you going to be doing?
I think we just head straight to the Dorchester house, right?
Right.
Yep.
Maybe we should call Dallin. Nah, let's just show up. He's the
No,
director.
let's
He's
show
got to
up.
be there, right?
I'm sure he'll be there.
He knows we're coming. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, he was. He was told that you guys are coming. So you don't think
Even
that'll
if
be
not.
a problem?
And we got some wheels, right?
Yeah, I think we had said that you guys had a
Brad's
a rental car.
A Stingray Corvette, 69 Stingray Corvette.
Ooh.
Is that what we
Can we
have,
have
Joe?
what if we had
no.
a Mini Cooper, like in Warren?
It's one of the two. It's got to
What
be.
is- What is with you guys today?
I don't think it'll fit us.
No,
Trying to live
you're all.
our fantasy of being FBI and people that like
you guys are all
Arby's.
slammed into a Mini Cooper with all of your gear, and like in the tiny little hatchback area in the bag is all the shotguns and the kidnap bag and everything that you got.
Yes.
Like if you have to roll someone, like man, they're gonna be cramped back there.
Yeah.
Are we going to Dorchester then?
Yeah.
Mhm.
All right. The facility is in the Clam Point neighborhood of Austin. Jeez, that's a different place. Of Boston. Right next to a place called the Dorchester Shore Reservation, which is a dog park. It's like the building is, it being kind of built at this turn of century time. It's got these big wrought iron fences and like, some kind of like Gothic-esque gargoyles. You look at it and it feels like a kind of place that you're like, it kind of looks like something the Catholic Church would have built about 100 years ago. It's a 3-story building, and it's kind of like an E shape, with it, from what you understand, or like from what you look, as you're looking up, it looks like, it's patient rooms all the way up. As you get there, you come to the front gate, and there's a small guard shack, and there's a guard there. And he, as you roll up, he steps out of the guard shack. It's a fairly nice day, and we'll say it's like that you guys are probably here because you guys met with him at 8 p.m. You guys met with Exeter at 8 p.m. on 1 September, so it's 2 September now. And we'll say it's like, what time do you guys think you would have rolled over there? I mean, how early did you eat at Arby's? I guess is the real question.
Let's see. What time does Arby's open?
11
Just
a.m.
kidding. Just
We're
kidding.
there at 11 a.m. We're moving this along.
You guys get there at 11. All right, and yeah, and there's a guard. He just holds up his hand and he asks you, as you guys drive up, he asks you if he could help you.
Who's driving? It seems like, isn't Hank usually the driver?
Yeah. We'll say I'm driving.
Can he legally drive now that he's 98 years old?
Yeah, when do they take your license?
They'll never take Hank's. So what was the question? Sorry.
Basically, you get to the front and the guard wants to know, how he can help you.
Hello, sir. We're here to see Dr. Richard.
He says, Doctor, you're here for Dr. Dallin.
Oh, yes.
And he goes back to the guard shack. He takes the phone off. He speaks for just a second. He comes and says, yes, gentlemen, Dr. Dallin is expecting you. Go right on up and just park right in front of the big front doors there. And he goes back in and he hits a button, and the big wrought iron gates swing open, and he gives you a quick wave as you guys pull up the big gravel like kind of driveway. It goes up in front of this huge Gothic structure, in front of these big imposing front steps with these two, big twin doors, and you see in like etched in the stone over the top of the doors is Dorchester, flanked on each side by, again, these kind of like Gothic-esque, like angel gargoyle kind of things.
Arkham Asylum vibes.
Yeah, shall we go into the lobby?
I reckon so. Let's just go inside if they'll allow us in through the front door and talk to the receptionist.
Yeah. You get in, and actually, let me switch back over here to the gameplay screen. You guys get back in, or as you guys come in, you are greeted by this woman. Let me allow you guys all to control her image. You are met by an orderly. She's standing at the front desk. Her name is Gail Hurston. Gail greets you and is like, hi. Were you the ones that just called? That are here to see Dr. Dallin?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Just great. Dr. Dallin, he's been expecting you. Hi, I'm Gail. And she shakes all your hands over the counter. And as you enter into the front lobby area, there's this big desk kind of in the front, and behind it are some fairly beefy like metal lockers, like not like what you'd expect of a high school. They're lockers to like you'd expect at like to lock things away in. For any of you who are in law enforcement, like Hank has seen these 100 times when he's gone into like a jail or something. It's typically where they take your valuables and your weapons and stuff. She tells you that she will take you to Dr. Dallin, but just first you need to surrender your firearms and other weapons so she can lock them up, because it's unsafe to have them in the hospital in case the patients get them from you.
Ooh, be pretty
So,
awkward
Normally
to
I would,
refuse
I
that.
would normally I would yeah, that seems, but let's just hand them over. Let's not
Yep.
go through the whole charade.
All right,
Okay.
here you go, Gail. Careful, I don't never turn my safety on.
It's just ready to go.
Yeah, dude, it's spicy Benji. He's unhinged. He's seen
It's
too
just-
much shit.
Yeah.
We
Well,
pull
yeah.
out our large pistols about as big as your forearm.
Picked this
Our Desert
Desert
Eagles.
Eagle up in Mumbai about 15 years ago. I call her Doodlebug.
All right. I imagine
Benedict is gonna try and hold on to a stun gun.
Okay. All right. So go ahead and make me probably a stealth roll, I'd say.
I'm gonna use my juice. What does my juice get me?
You're gonna do your juice?
I get my juice plus 40% juice.
Is it plus 40 or is it plus 20?
I'd say 40. I didn't check the rules, but I have the confidence that it's plus 40.
You
have
sound
the-
very
the-
confident.
He sounds very confident about the juice
It
being
must
plus
be.
40. But I really feel like it's plus 20 though. That's,
Well, mine was
fine.
42. You said that last time, Joe, and
Did
I
I?
used mine. Yeah.
Okay.
It's mostly irrelevant because I got 97 over 32. So
Nice.
it fails.
Okay.
Begrudgingly says, "Oh, man, this is
Well,
this is my
hold on.
new
Hold
phone."
on. That's not how this works. That's not how this works,
Oh.
you see, because if you want to hide something from her, you have to there's actually there's a competition roll that you have to roll. So I
Oh,
need to roll
right.
for her to see if her
She needs
alertness
to get worse than 97.
happens. Let's see
Well, it'd be
what
77 if you use your
Yeah.
juice, right?
Oh,
Right.
right.
So I think let's just roll and see what happens. I think the only way you succeed is if she critically fails. All right. Basically, she still sees that you have it, unfortunately. So, and she's like, go ahead and put it in the locker, and she gives you each a little key that you lock the locker with and take with you. So the last thing she gives you each a blue key card. She writes your name on it with a marker and gives that to you, and she lets you know that will open emergency doors and like the common doors that are locked that staff need to move through, that you might need to move through while you're here in the facility, but they will not open secure areas. But they're for you, in case you get separated, from staff or whatnot.
All
Damn,
right.
we should have took those guns. This is sounding.
Why?
We'll come back. to
Well,
it.
hearing you describe
is this
that does
in
not
line?
sound like we're gonna be here a
Is this-
while.
It's a
No,
locked
is
facility.
Is this
It's
in the line of sight?
the doors are all over the place. Do you want to
Okay,
do you
legit
want to pull
question.
some
Are the
some
lockers-
shenanigans to try to like get your guns back?
Man, Brad, now you got me worried.
This
I
is
say we maybe
sounding
come back around.
this is sounding
Let's
like
come back around.
a dungeon if it was D&D.
I don't know what would give you that impression. I'm gonna be frank.
So, is it in her line of sight if we come back to the lockers and just take our stuff later?
Well, right now she wants to take you to Dr. Dallon's office, and it kind of seems like she works the front desk, and the lockers are directly behind the front desk. I'm not saying it's impossible. Nothing's impossible.
Listen, they're not going to lock
Except
us in
those
past the front
landscapes.
desk. Is what I guess I want to make sure. Like we can come back to the front area, and it's not like locked behind like a security door or something.
You have the keys to get in and out of the patient areas, is what it sounds
Yeah.
like.
Okay. We'll just run back.
We can come back.
Yeah.
All right. She walks you through a secure door that goes back into the administrative wing. She explains to you that the facility that on the top floor of that basically it's like the most acute patients, the patients who are the most disturbed or the most affected, are on the top floor. They're on the third floor. And the way that it works is that as patients get better and they improve, that they literally move down closer to the ground floor. So at the top you have the most secure floor, which is the most regimented floor as well, with patients who are the most confused or the most disturbed. The second floor is where most people tend to spend a lot of their time in the facility, rather than and then in the first floor is where they have the most freedom. They have the most access to different things like cell phones and television and things like that. And as you get down to the first floor where the administrative wing is, those are the patients who are typically kind of on the way to like being released kind of soon.
Cool.
And this also houses the administrative wing. She takes you into the administrative wing through one of those doors. She takes her own key card that she has, swipes it, and brings you all in to a very a very big, prestigious looking office. Books lining the walls, and there's big oak desk in the middle of it. And about the time, you guys have about 10 seconds in here to kind of peek around when Dr. Dallon walks through the door. And then let me also give you Dr. Dallon's picture. Where are you? Okay, there he is. Okay. So here is Dr. Dallon as well. He gets in, and he's well dressed. He looks like a very professional hospital administrator type. He is, he's like clean shaven. He looks to be older. Looks to be in his like late 50s, early 60s. Thin rimmed glasses. His beard and hair are all starting to white. And he's a very calming presence. He kind of reminds you of someone you would think of as like a psychiatrist. He's very, very slow spoken, and he welcomes you all. He's like, "Oh, I believe," he dismisses Gale. Gale, I've got this. Welcome, agents. I believe our mutual acquaintance told me you were coming. And please sit. And he directs you to some chairs. There's like in the corner of the office, there's he has this big desk with some chairs in front of the desk, and then in the corner there's some like a kind of area for people to sit and talk, and like with a small coffee table. And he's like, please sit.
Oh, thank you, Richard. Can I call you Richard?
Of course.
I'm
Don't
Hank.
call me Dick, right?
Damn it!
Oh man.
You knew where I was going.
uh, I'm Hank, and these are my associates.
Are you just gonna give them your real names? That's you do you.
Yeah, I think
Sure.
so.
Okay.
We're past the pretense.
Unless
enough.
unless we want to go Hank, Benedict, and Agent Meacha.
An agent meet you.
I'll say that. My name's Hank. This is my co-workers, Benedict and Agent Meacha. You do.
pleased.
Yes.
Pleased to meet you. I
No.
get it. I get it.
Oh,
It's
that
It
hasn't
still
aged
lands.
in 20
Even
years.
20 years later.
It always
okay.
lightens the mood a little bit. We'd like to do that a little bit.
So awkward.
Anyway, I think we've been briefed with what's happened. Has the area been secured? Is the message still there on the wall?
No, the message has been cleaned. We photographed it. I photographed it. I wanted to make sure that we had some record of it, but you understand these kind of things are very troubling for some already pretty troubled people, and so we want to, remove that kind of stimulus as soon as possible to kind of maintain order here.
I got a question for you, Richard.
Yes.
This mural of sorts, did it happen to be on the third floor with all the crazies?
Yes, that is
I
where.
figured about as much.
Yeah, well, they're not crazies. I don't know is
We don't use that term.
Yeah.
the term.
Yeah.
Do you know which one of the crazies, as you say, wrote this down? I'm also I'm gonna tell you that Benedict is also has become a bit hard of hearing. So we're gonna get some of those coming in.
Interesting.
Just in this time, yeah. Hold on. Let me pull that up. My bad. I didn't have that right here. He says that it was in Al Diasia's room.
Al?
Could you spell that for me?
Yeah.
It's actually on one of the handouts that's on the screen for you in Roll20. The one that has 3 names on it. It is a Diassa.
Where is this handout?
I see. Okay.
You are seeing the handout?
Is
I'm
it
not.
top
Maybe
left?
blacked out?
I'm sorry, it's not a handout.
it
It's one of the assets on the board.
Yeah, top left.
That was one of the guys in there.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the 3 missing agents.
And Richard, they were all roommates, if I understand correctly.
No. These 3 particular rooms were the patients were all 3 sedated and under they were under chemical and physical restraint in their rooms. Around on the 28th.
So there
The,
was. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yes, on the 28th, the first disappearance was first noticed during rounds that the orderlies do at about 8:11 p.m. The patients were the last time the patients were seen was between 6 and 6:30 when they were restrained. These were 3 particularly troubled individuals, and though in this modern era of psychiatry, it is certainly not the kind of thing that I try to make a habit of here at Dorchester. But sometimes it is necessary for the safety of the individual patients and for the other patients to restrain them in this way, especially, you know, during the lights out period.
Yes. So there was an incident earlier that they had to be restrained for. What happened specifically?
Well, these three patients in particular are typically some of our more violent ones. This is not uncommon for them, unfortunately. And like I said, for their own safety, I understand that our mutual acquaintance, that your organization deals with some especially troubling content. And he says that with a very knowing look in his eye. He like raises his eyebrows. Says, I've seen many of your peers in my time here, and they are often quite broken for a long time. This facility has served your organization well my entire tenure.
Yes, you are correct in saying this. But for these three individuals, was there anything particularly different than the past?
No, nothing new had happened. I have the patient files here. I have them here on my desk, and he gets up and brings them to you. And
Yeah, I'd love to
places them-
take a gander at those, but I'm more interested if you got any video surveillance.
Yes, we do have surveillance of the corridors, not of the individual rooms, for privacy issues, but we do have surveillance in the corridors, but there was nothing noticed, no breaches in the doors, and in fact, all of the patient doors on that unit have to be opened with key cards by the staff. No breaches, no sign of entry, no logged opening or closing of the doors. It's quite alarming, gentlemen, and he looks at you each hard for a minute. He says, I've heard some of the things that your cohort has said when they come here. Now, I'm a man of science. I know that what I'm here to do, and I know how I serve your organization, but it's especially bothersome. I'm sure you know more about it than I do, and I don't want to know any more about it. I'm a little on edge myself here, and so is some of the staff.
As troubling as it might be, we would like to hear some of what these individuals said to you or to the behavior specialist. It could help us with the
when
case.
did you notice? When did you notice they went missing? What time did you notice they were missing?
Like I
It's
said,
like
around
11
a
o'clock.
little
on the
around
28th.
a little around 8 o'clock. At 8:11, he's like looking at a clipboard. These are the rounds that the orderlies have. He says one of the orderlies looked in to the room, and the first thing they noticed was the mural, this poem on the wall. And
Yeah, it was on the 28th, correct?
correct, yes.
What month is it?
And what did
It's right now. It's,
Yeah.
it's
Where's my
September.
gun? September? All right.
It's September.
he's on that note, he's a little bit on edge.
You got room
Given
for
the
one more
nature-
truck? I'm crazy.
He like takes him aside and says we may actually need to take you up on that if there are any spaces. But
Well, we just had
Given the
3 open
nature-
up. Actually, that's
very convenient.
3
Given the
recent.
nature of these interactions, would you be able to talk to Gale for us? I do think we might need to keep our personal protection devices on us.
Oh
while we
no.
investigate.
Gentlemen, I am don't trust me.
You must
That
understand, Richard.
I understand that that the three of you, even compared with all of the staff we have, could be fairly easily overrun by the number of patients if they banded together for some bizarre reason, especially if they knew you had some type of weapon. I don't think the milieu is currently like that. I don't think there's anything like that going on, but that's the danger. That's why we don't allow anyone to take weapons in. It's too dangerous, I'm afraid. I understand your organization takes security very seriously. But so do I as the head of this facility. Some of these
Okay.
people, if given the opportunity to get a weapon, I don't think they would hurt you, is what I'm saying. I think they would hurt themselves.
That changes things.
Has this ever happened before? Have you ever had any other cases of patients mysteriously
Of-
going missing?
Of 3 patients disappearing from their rooms with no entrance or exit, leaving only the restraints that they were bound with? No. I have to say this is
Is that
this is the first
even
time.
but-
I detect a
Even-
hint of sass there, Richard.
I I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry, gentlemen.
We're not
I am
judging
dumbfounded.
you, Richard. We're not judging you on what happened. We understand you've done everything you could, but even before your time here, has anything like this ever occurred in the records?
I don't think so. I could dig and see, but I mean, most of what was here before. I mean, this place changed hands a few times. It started out as a boys' school. I don't know if any of those records exist. I'd have to reach out to the Catholic Church, and I don't know if they maintain anything that happened here, or if they would share it for that matter.
All right. Yeah, we're probably not gonna find anything like that.
Hey, look, brother. You think you can hook us up with one of them all-access key cards? We're gonna do some poking around.
What I can do is I can have one of the staff give you a tour, and they can show you into all the areas that you need. But you will need to be chaperoned by a staff member. I mean, it's just for security purposes. I'm sure you understand. This is a hospital, and they'd be more happy to show you every inch of this place.
And I'm sure you understand that there's some. Due to the nature of our organization, there are some things that outsiders would be best off not seeing. Privacy would be valued.
If that comes up, then feel free to come get me personally, and we will deal with it together. I
It's
understand. I
already
don't
come
want.
up, brother. Why do you think we're here? People don't just disappear into thin air like that. There is something going on. Of that, I can guarantee you. My crazy senses are tingling.
Well, I would hate to question your crazy senses.
Is there some kind
I
of persuade roll I can make, or
yeah, actually, this probably would be a good use of that. If you want to try to convince you, so what are you trying to get from him exactly?
an all-access key card, so we can go wherever in the building?
Okay, yeah, go ahead and give me that roll.
We got a 43 in persuade, so let's see what happens. Success. Wait, hold on. Failure. 51 over 43.
Close.
He tells you, says, "Listen, I can get my head nurse to take you around and show you the place, show you the rooms, show you the entirety. I mean, everything you want to see, every nook, every cranny, every even like the medication rooms and stuff. She needs to be with you. If something comes up and you're concerned that it is something pertaining to your organization, then by all means, come get me, and I will help you."
Is this like a legal liability thing, Richard? Are we back in American bullshit territory. Can we just not be practical?
Yes, sir, it is. Part of it is the legal liability. I mean, whenever you guys are done doing what it is you do, I'm still running a psychiatric hospital. I still have patients
I
that have
get
to be
that.
taken care of and their rights respected.
I understand that, Richard, but you need to understand that you're trying. I've just met you, and you're making my job very difficult. We're trying to
He-
help, sir.
He pinches the bridge of his nose between his eyes in a demonstrative sign of stress.
Is
and
this
frustration.
calming demeanor still there?
It's
Was
still
that
there,
gone
but
long
he's
ago?
you can see the cracks. He says, "Gentlemen, I am afraid I am at my last. I am on my last leg for. You say you have a job to do. I have a job to do. I just lost 3 patients. I just lost 3 patients that I have to account for, and if God forbid if you don't find them, what could happen to this entire facility? What do you think happens to our patients on the 3rd floor if this facility is shut down by the state? Do you think they
You have to put
go
it
to a
down or
new
something?
facility? No, they'll most likely end up on the streets.
Oh,
Well, Richard, it sounds like you're just convincing me that we need to do our job as best as possible, and you need to help us with our job as best as possible, regardless of access control, legal liabilities. And I'm also going to throw in a persuade down there.
All right, take a -20 because Benji's already failed once.
Fine.
If he makes this, it's meant to be.
Fail with the -20, 60 over 51.
Well, Richard, we do appreciate everything you've done with us, and I think we'll carry it
I
on.
don't.
Except for Benedict.
Under my breath. Oh, I'm not fucking.
He is
But,
hard of hearing.
What exactly has this
But,
fucker done for us so far? Pulling
But
me out
we-
here. I'm just happy in New York, god damn it.
You have assured us that we can come and get you if we need to be private, look at something privately without the staff. And you've given me the files of the 3 individuals, and we can access the security camera of the hallways. The last thing before we leave, what are the names of the individuals we saw on the night floors?
Ed Wist and
Yeah.
I forgot the other one.
Thomas Bale.
Would you happen to have an Ed Wiss or a Thomas Bale in the facility, or have ever been admitted to this psychiatric facility?
He kind of pulls his head back. He's like, "How do you know those names?"
Wow.
Ooh.
This is
Well, so
That's, you don't want to know. I thought you said you did not want to know.
no,
this-
you're right. Yes, Mr. Wist and Mr. Bale are both currently patients here at Dorchester.
Oh.
Please do not tell me that they are mixed up in this.
We may need to speak to them. And will these, and he like flicks up his tan-colored access card, will these shitty access cards get us there?
Yes, you will be able to meet both of them. Yes, absolutely.
Molly, do we want to meet with them privately with Richard or with the staff
No.
present?
No, by
With the-
themselves, I think.
We don't have that option. We have to have Richard
Yeah.
present.
Richard, could you relax the rules on this? Or is this just a non-negotiable?
I don't. What do you mean? You want
We
you
need
want
to speak
talk
to these
them?
men in private.
I mean that could be arranged. Yes, we can do that. We can have I can have my head nurse arrange for you to meet in one of the treatment rooms with them in private.
That would be.
Excellent.
Thank you, Richard. What do y'all say about we look at their records while simultaneously looking at the film of the hallway? After this staff member gives us whatever the tour is, and then we meet with them.
Yeah.
Yep.
Maybe we could set up like a headquarters, like in an empty room or something.
Yeah. Richard,
Yeah.
we're gonna have your staff member give us a tour, and we're gonna look over these documents and the film. And in the meantime, would you please be able to set up this room for us to talk with the two patients that are already here, and do a little bit of digging yourself as to if this ever happened in the past beyond your stay here.
I will. Yes, when I'll call for my head nurse now. I'll call for her name's Esther. I'll call her now, and I will. And he kind of like looks over at this big bookshelf. He's got. I don't know if maybe I have something about this place before, or if not, maybe I could request it from. I don't know. I'll look, and I'll see what I have. But yes, you should be able to speak with the patients.
Thank you, Richard.
Could we get
Yeah.
the files for Thomas and Ed, please? Just if you have them on hand.
Oh,
And now, Benedict does the same. Oh, Richard.
I
Pinches the.
Now,
Richard.
I understand everything we've been asking, but you're seriously not going to be able to give us the files of these patients there? We have, on good authority, this could be tied up with the missing 3.
We wouldn't mention such specific names, Richard. You must understand.
yes, I know. I'm more worried for them, and the fact that you even know who they are. I'll get
Richard-
you there. I'll get you their files.
Thank you.
Thank you. Kyle.
One more thing.
Okay.
Can Benji see where the doctor's key card is on his person?
He is wearing a lanyard around his neck that is tucked into like a shirt pocket. He's wearing a jacket, like a suit,
Okay.
and
okay.
the shirt pocket, the breast pocket, the lanyard is hanging down from his neck and is tucked in the shirt pocket.
Sleight of hand.
Should
You could try. Although he's gonna notice. I don't know.
Well, the second he tries to go through a door, he's gonna notice he doesn't have it anymore.
what's he gonna
Hey,
do?
well-
Search me?
We'll figure out what to do when that comes up. No.
All right.
Benji's
I
like,
want to
oh,
play
I have
Benji
one.
crazier, but I can't play him too unhinged. All
How
right,
crazy
all right.
is crazy.
I want to do a quick glance of as we're leaving his office, just to see if there's any like anything I could surmise about his like character more so. Like a is there such thing as like a quick search, just kind of like eyeing?
I guess I would.
Human.
I guess you just say like probably just like an alertness. I guess like just like
Yeah.
a quick.
Yeah,
I think that's not really the perfect use of alertness, but
Does he have a
I think it's
collection
pretty-
of glass cats? Blown glass cats.
Let
a
me know what you got.
complete fumble, 100%. Oh my god.
you get something in your eye.
Yikes.
All right, so he picks up the phone, and he calls for his he makes a quick call, and he says, Gail, could you get Esther? Could you ask Esther to come here, please? Thank you. And it's not too long until you see this lady here. And her name is she is head nurse Esther Semagina. Is it Semagina or Semagina?
I don't see
Is
the
the-
name. Yeah.
Soft G.
It's a soft G. Okay. Esther Semagina. She comes in and she's like, "Just welcome, gentlemen. Oh, I am. Dr. Dallin said that we might be receiving visitors who are looking into the disappearance of these poor patients. I'm so glad that we have professionals here. Where the staff is all very worried."
I'm sure we'll get to the bottom of this before the day's over with. I'm Hank. This is my associate Benedict, and this is Agent Micha. All together,
Benji, like-
as in
Please,
pleased to meet
there it
ya.
is. There it is.
Oh, I
hope-
get it. I get it. It's a.
Yes.
Is that
I hope
really
that
your
It's a
name?
bit of a,
Yeah, we're
A
gonna
bit of
get
an
on just
icebreaker.
fine, me and you, Esther.
I hope that
we're a
lightened
fun
the
bunch,
mood a
us
little
Richard.
bit. Please. That's something we like to do.
Yes. So yes. Dr. Dallin tells her that she's to take you guys around, and specifically mentions she says they might need to speak with Mr. Bale and Mr. Whist on the 3rd floor.
In private.
Yes. And she kind of looks at Doctor. She kind of looks at Dr. Dallin a little. Kind of gives him a bit of an eyebrow. Just yes, I think we can. I think we can arrange that. Depending on assuming that Timothy and Ed are feeling up to it today. There should be no problem.
Can I start? So, I guess when should I start perusing these files? Can I do that as I'm walking? Or.
It's gonna be hard
No,
to
actually,
really get
Esther-
into them while you're literally
Esther,
walking around.
my darling, do you have a waiting room or something that we can use just to pore over these notes very quickly?
Oh yes, I mean there's an office over here. We have some.
Oh.
And there's a
You're
filing
darling.
room, I guess, or something.
Oh,
There's a space.
I
There's a
love
space for you
filing
guys
rooms.
to use.
And how about
I
that
love
security
filing-
footage? Any chance you could get your hands on that security footage from the 28th?
The security room is upstairs on the 3rd floor. That's where
Oh, God.
that's where
Seems
the
like
security
a-
personnel is, stationed because it's the most acute floor.
Do we want to split up?
Hell no.
Alright,
Emphatic
no.
no. That is one thing that has not changed in 20 years. Never.
I think it would be fun.
Oh man.
Okay.
Esther, you don't need to set up that office. We slot some chairs into that filing room? I'm a journalist and I'm quite comfortable around papers, so you can just set us up in that filing room.
What a weird thing to say. Okay, yeah, of course.
I don't know if you heard him, but he's a journalist.
Oh,
I'm a journalist.
Did he make
Yeah.
that clear?
okay.
Similarly,
paper.
I'm a musician, so I'm quite comfortable around guitars and the like, you see. Instruments, one might say.
Well, there are no guitars here, Benji.
I feel very uncomfortable, I gotta say.
And I'm a
Esther,
U.S. Marshal.
as you make like a strongman pose.
Are they competing for her attention and her approval?
Yeah, it's a little weird.
Do you give me a guitar, Esther? I might play a tune for you. Real.
I
sweet
think
one.
we've got a lot. If gentlemen, if you want to see this place, today we need to get you going. I think.
We could let's settle in that filing room to start. Benedict has some ulterior motives, so can we get to the filing room?
I would say, yeah, she'll take you to a room that looks like they're probably like digitizing files in here. It's 2015, so
Okay.
there is, there's a lot of people doing a lot of scanning of things and trying to get them onto electronic records.
Oh God, are there people in this room?
I will say no. She says we have some temp people, who come through about who are here 2 days a week to to scan things in. But they're not here today.
Well, Esther, do you mind if we just camp out here today? We can't expect anybody to come in, can we? We need to discuss, and we've got a lot of important investigative work to do, and it would be good to focus, to have a space to focus.
Your audio
No,
shut
you're
now,
Joe.
Joe. No.
Oh, my bad.
Audio's good.
If you want to do a tour, I mean, we kind of need to do that now. I'd love for you to have this area. That's fine, but sooner rather than later, I think. Unless
Okay,
you
could you
just
give
want me to
us-
come back in a few hours, or
just come back in an hour. We just want to pour over these notes, and then we'll take you up on that tour.
Okay. Well, I just gotta do some rounds. I gotta check on some of my nurses, and I will be back. And
We love you.
I love you. And she leaves you.
Okay. So
We'll
Benedict
just be
looks at the
right
others.
in here.
Right as he makes his muscle, it's like muscle man stance and points.
Yes,
Over here.
I still got it.
So Benedict is super shifty, and he wants to look at the guys and say, okay, this is the motherlode. I don't think you understand what I've done for us. We have all the information on anyone right here in this room. You guys start reading that, and Benedict's going to start rifling through the files.
Is this actually the file room?
This is a file storage room where there's big cardboard boxes full of patient files. They go back to like 1987. And there are hundreds and hundreds of them. I will go ahead and tell you, I'm just gonna go ahead and I'm gonna stop this train in its tracks. I'm gonna tell you that there is
You're not letting the
nothing.
madness play out.
I'm gonna tell you there's nothing from the last 3 years in this room. This appears to be like overflow storage of old files.
King of your own little fiefdom.
My own.
I can't.
Mad
Did she really
power.
say that? That sounds like a Dace phrase.
Well, let's have her on. You can ask her yourself. I invited her on to come in and guest.
We'll have a guest spot
Yeah.
for Dace's mom, and she can
turned
talk
it down
shit
super
about me.
hard, but we'll keep chipping away at her.
All right.
Good call.
Y'all want
So
to
is
get
there
to
anything-
looking at these files or no?
Yeah, I think we need to look over the files. I wanted a space to regroup and chat, and then also see if there was any bonus material we could come out of, but
Yeah.
that's been shot down.
Looking at her timeline, this is about the halfway point.
Yeah,
Cool.
you know what? You're right. This is probably a good place to go ahead and stop. So you guys have gotten into the Dorchester house, and you're kind of right here on the cusp of probably.
Can
of
we read
probably,
these
like,
files quick? Get some quick context on Tim and
on
Ed,
the missing
please?
patients?
No, we don't really care about them.
But-
More about
okay.
Tim and Ed, to be honest. Benedict doesn't care about the missing patients. He cares about his friends that he met way back.
Fair.
All right,
Which would
I'm
be
gonna say
more
that
intriguing,
you.
missing people or people you saw 20 years ago who are there right now, who were in this facility. Like for Benedict, it's clear.
It's not a bad call.
It is a better story.
It is a. You see, so you open Ed Miller Wist. You open his file. It says that he's currently on the 3rd floor, which would mean that he's one of the more acute patients. The first thing that you see when you open it up is you see a court order marked by the Department of Justice of California, which is apparently holding Ed here against his will. Everyone roll me a quick intelligence check.
Just a straight up intelligence. There's nothing we could use skill based for this.
Success.
Success, critical success.
from
All
Benji.
successes, and
and
Benji has a critical.
Hank.
33 under 75.
You guys are reading this, and you all kind of you're like, wait a second, this seems familiar. You see that he's being held here, for that he has been deemed criminally insane, and as you look at it, you all kind of remember, wait a second, you remember a few years ago, you remember there being like a big news story of a guy, but Benji's like, no, Benji remembers exactly what it is. He remembers that this guy, at the age of 16, on his 16th birthday, murdered his entire family by shotgun. And it
Jesus.
was in the public eye. It was kind of called the poor little rich boy murders. That
Little-
that this guy was just he's an obscenely wealthy kind of like heir to this his father's like empire, and that he was convicted of murder, but successfully was able to plead not guilty by reason of insanity, and that the courts moved him to an undisclosed New England facility recently, or within the last year or so, in order to kind of get him out of, California, where everyone knew who he was, kind of thing.
Yeah, and Benji will explain that and be like,
Yeah, he murdered his family on his 16th birthday, which was...
wait, you said there's a 1616 thing?
It was his 16th birthday, and that was only
In 2016?
In 2010.
Oh.
It's currently 2015, and there's something else that you do remember. You remember that there being like I said, this has been something that's been out of the public eye, and it's not new and interesting anymore. But you do remember there being something kind of recently as well about him recently, like basically, even though he's in an insane asylum, but now that he's 21, that he's gained access to his entire trust fund at the age of 21, and that there was like a small article about this guy who killed his parents, killed his father, who was the owner of this huge empire, and then has access to his wealth, even though he's still in an insane asylum. You remember reading that, and you're making that connection, like, holy shit, this is this guy.
Can we do a bit of... I don't know if this is something we can recall, but how old did he look when we met him?
When you met him, he looked, you would probably guess in his early 20s. I'm just going to go ahead and drop his picture here.
Yeah. I mean,
that's the
from the
oldest
interaction...
early 20s I've ever seen.
He lives in an insane asylum. He's life's been rough.
It's a rough go of it.
Doesn't get a shaver.
Yeah, that's weird because I wasn't particularly getting rich boy vibes from him, but
Yeah, he had sort of like a gruff New England or Boston accent or something, didn't he?
He did, and that might have been a mistake on my part.
No,
Yeah, you can
I'm gonna remember it, and I'm hoping to hear it.
well, he's
Yeah,
trying to
retcon
blend
it.
in.
make it sound like a pretty boy. I
Wow.
murdered my daddy on my 16th birthday. I murdered
Daddy?
my daddy.
I want another
That's part of
Ferrari,
insanity.
and if I
What if it
can't
just
get it, I'm
switches?
going to kill everyone.
And can we talk about? Do you have more on Ed, or do we want to go to Tim real quick?
That's the big stuff you see on Ed. You see that as far as like his diagnosis and stuff, you see that he seems to have trouble remembering his time before he came to the Dorchester now. He's having significant disruptions in his memory, and that he's pretty stable most of the time, but does sometimes fly into these fits of rage.
Always
yeah,
liked Ed.
You also see Timothy Bales. Let me give you Tim's picture as well. Timothy Bale is, you see that he is listed as being that he is an Army veteran who served 2 tours in Iraq. And his big things are he suffers night terrors, social anxiety disorder, and depression. All things kind of linked to like severe PTSD. You see that there was it sounds like that he was in a troop transport that was hit by an IED, killed everybody but him, and injured him significantly. And then that basically he came home, was not able to adjust, and ended up in this place as well. So, and again, that he is fairly stable, but is kind of at the drop of a hat, kind of goes into fight or flight mode and goes into soldier mode. And that's why he's not really with people anymore. Sorry about the dogs.
And he's on the 3rd floor as well.
Yes.
It'd be interesting to know if they had yet to go to the night floors or they've already been there.
Yeah.
Because time's so screwed up. Okay, cool.
But listen, guys, I think that's a pretty good place to stop, as my dogs are starting to go absolutely fucking crazy. everyone, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, and I would like to give a special shout out to our new number one fan, Ellen, who is really giving us a lot of really awesome insight into how we're doing things. But also, again, like to some of our Patreons, to Peter, Kyle, and Steven, who we really appreciate that support. If you want to hear these episodes a week early, consider going over to the Patreon and subscribing. It's only $3 a month, and you get to hear these episodes a week early. As we continue to go, we're going to build in some more stuff, so kind of stay online for that. If you want to keep up with us, hit us up over at our Reddit. We're at r/greenboxgaming. Swing by there and just like tell us who's listening.
By the way, you remember at one point I was telling you somebody commented on one of our things on Reddit, and I was like, we should get them some flair as the first commenter.
Yeah.
Guess who it was?
It was Steve, wasn't it?
Fucking Steve. It was
Steve.
Actually, it said something about the infamous Steve in the reply to him, and then like 2 weeks later, he came back and he's like, "What would you say if I told you that I was this infamous Steve?" So we're on there. I would like to see more people comment.
Yeah. Well, we recently had someone reach out from Finland, I think.
Oh, really?
Said they really liked what we were doing, and we appreciate that. We've got folks kind of all over. We got a bunch of Finns. We got some Brits. We got folks in Chicago, New York, Denver, Atlanta. Like, I can kind of see where some of the downloads come from. If you like what you're hearing, you like what you're seeing, tell a friend about it. And like I said, come over to r/greenboxgaming. That's where all of our updates are, and we post all the links to the podcast and whatnot. And keep in mind our Patreon over at patreon/greenboxgaming_. But that'll do it for this episode. Thank you guys for being here with us and playing today. I know things are just kind of getting going. But
exciting.
Yep, diving into it. Thanks for DMing.
Yeah.
Man. Yep. All right.
GM and handling.
But we will see you guys next time. Bye.
Peace.